As you point out in your article this morning, I want to read a part of it. The relentless racial assault on Obama has been the one unyielding constant from the moment that Obama declared his presidential candidacy in 2007. This was not simply an unorganized, spontaneous expression of bigotry. It was subtly stoked and orchestrated by the GOP with the clear political aim of disrupting, destabilizing, and rendering politically impotent Obama's program, initiatives, and proposed legislation. Is the GOP rebranding, or at least the talk of their rebranding after the RNC's autopsy early in the spring, is that really happening at all? Are we not witnessing that happening?
You know, I think what's happening with the Republican National Committee, let's just walk it back for a few months. Yes, in fact, they said, we're going to rebrand. We're going to reach out to Hispanics. We're going to reach out to gays. We're going to reach out to African Americans. We're going to reach out to women. We're going to do all these great things. They had this huge blueprint for change. But you got to remember one thing. Even at the point where the Republican National Committee and the top officials in the RNC were saying this, you had a groundswell among the GOP rank and file, a large segment of that, and of course, just generally, GOP voters saying, you know what, we're not going to go in a different direction. We're comfortable where we are now. We don't see any need to change anything. As a matter of fact, actually, we need to return to, quote unquote, even more conservative fundamental values and principles. So if you notice one thing, after the RNC came out with this supposedly sweeping blueprint for change, you haven't heard another word about it. It just died a stillborn death. So what does that tell you really about the sincerity on the part of the GOP leadership? I think it's really just a smokescreen, a PR effort, and nothing more. They're not serious about it.
Do you think, though, that it's too much to expect, Earl, that there is enough time or even enough desire to want to try to adhere to that rebranding before 2016?
No, here's the problem with that. The GOP is looking over their shoulder, and they know this. They know that those protesters that were in Phoenix, were in Orlando, all of that, and also the clown at the Missouri State Fair.
Right.
Even though it seems outrageous, it seems ludicrous, it seems ridiculous, they understand one thing. That's their base. That's their rank and file. There's a huge groundswell of sentiment that actually agrees with that. No, they're not going to be in your face doing these kinds of silly, stupid things, but at the same time, there's a huge undercurrent that we support that. We see nothing wrong with that. The GOP has to understand, and they're always looking over their shoulder at their base.
Right. Not admonishing it just means it's just condoning in that kind of behavior. Daphne Lindsay, Steve Bannon, Earl Ofari Hutchinson, thanks. It was great to have all three of you on. I appreciate it.